What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be talking about the Type 63. This is going to be after the patch that came out yesterday, which I posted a video about. If you haven't seen that video already, I would recommend checking it out. In that video I talked mostly about the DMR because that's the gun that I had the most experience with using and with testing. Well, today I spent some time with the Type 63, just wanted to see how it felt, and I'm going to show you guys kind of like what I found in terms of time to kill, what its recoil pattern is like, and how it compares to the other assault rifles now after the patch. I was afraid to see that this gun didn't get nerfed enough with yesterday's patch, because it seemed like yesterday's patch was mostly focused on the DMR, so we're going to be talking about that too as well. In this video, because this is a Black Ops Cold War weapon, I'm going to be talking about this video in Black Ops Cold War multiplayer first, and then I'm going to begin speaking about this video in terms of Warzone. If you guys are only interested in the Warzone portion of this video, I understand. You can go ahead and skip about 5 or 6 minutes into the video, and that's whenever I should be talking about Warzone. But we have a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. Alright, so this is the spreadsheet that I've been using to build all the weapons in. This is the Type 63 right here in regards of Black Ops Cold War multiplayer. All the stats that you see in terms of time to kill are going to be assuming 150 health, which is the standard in Black Ops Cold War multiplayer in the core game modes. So this weapon right here on the left hand side, you'll see all the stats. It has a damage of 68, it drops off at 50.8 meters, making it change from a 3-shot kill hitting the upper chest to a 4-shot kill after 51 meters. Fire rate is only 361 rounds per minute. This is less than the DMR. The bullet velocity is only 625 meters per second. Vehicle damage 68, melee quickness 1000 milliseconds. As terms of speed goes, the aim down sight speed is a little bit slower than the other assault rifles at 350 instead of 300. And then in terms of accuracy, I'll show you guys a recoil pattern in a second. It kind of just shoots straight left, which is very strange. It's sort of like a semi-automatic version of the Kilo in Black Ops Cold War multiplayer. Ammo capacity has a 25 round mag instead of a 20 round mag in the DMR. Reload quickness 2.5, which is pretty standard. And if you take a look at the recoil pattern here, like I said, it looks like this is a cluster, but this is my first shot here, and then it kind of just scatters left. This is 20 shots, and they just keep going more and more left. It's kind of interesting. It's very easy to control. It's just strange. Alright, so in terms of time to kill, only shooting the upper chest with no headshots, it's going to be between a 0.85 seconds and 1.13 seconds. My time to kill calculation has the aim down sight speed as well as the bullet velocity included. The bullet velocity calculation is going to be how long it takes for the last bullet to exit the barrel and hit the target at X meters away. That is why the number is a little bit inflated, because of the extra aim down sight speed, and then it also slopes downward because of the bullet velocity. This is the same amount of bullets to kill somebody, but the bullet velocity makes it take a little bit longer each time. Also good to mention is that my y-axis is in reverse order. I do this so that you can see in terms of time to kill and how good the gun is the gun gets worse as the distance goes on, and it's easier to see that with a downward sloping graph. Also, whenever you compare this to other guns, like I'll show you later in the video, you're going to see that the better guns are going to be on top, and it's just easier to read it that way. But moving on, it has a 19% increase to time to kill at 50 meters, which is pretty good. That's a very good effective damage range. 19% is kind of high, but that is because it has a very low fire rate. Comparing all of the stats for this gun, let me zoom in so you guys can see the labels a little bit easier. So Type 63 is right here, and like I said, they're all green. This is a good, it seems like, statistically speaking, it seems like it's a very good gun. The only thing that's bad about this gun is its extremely low fire rate, which is going to hinder its time to kill significantly in comparison to the other assault rifles. Like I said, in terms of speed, it is also the worst speed gun, in terms of aim down sight speed, your movement speed, and stuff like that. Moving on to accuracy, we saw the recoil pattern earlier. This makes it look like it's a very poorly accurate gun, but because of its low fire rate, the bullets don't really spread out that far. Looking at ammo, kind of in the middle of the road, not too bad, not too crazy. This is definitely enough bullets for the amount of damage, and it's only a 3-shot kill, so you shouldn't have to use any sort of magazine attachments on this weapon. Look at the recoil patterns of the other assault rifles. Like I mentioned, this is very easy to control in comparison to something like the FFAR1 with this bow shape or something like that. This kind of just shows how easy this weapon is to control. This is kind of the most important thing everybody looks at, the time to kill graph. This is all the other 5 assault rifles in Warzone and the DMR in comparison to the Type 63. The Type 63 is this bottom one right here. I leveled this gun up all the way today to try to make this video just so I had experience with the gun so I can talk about it. And I can tell it is a lot harder to use than the DMR. It does take longer to kill people than the DMR. And even when using the DMR, I could tell that it wasn't killing as fast as some of the other assault rifles, making this gun not very good in Black Ops Cold War multiplayer. So let's start talking about Warzone. So because we're talking about Warzone, you can assume that all the time to kill stats here are with 250 health, which is somebody that has 3 plates of armor in. So it has a 72 damage, which is very high. For an assault rifle in Warzone. It's a 4-shot kill up to 20 meters, which is a 25 meters, which is a very, very low effective damage range, especially for a gun that's supposed to bridge the gap between an assault rifle and a sniper rifle. I don't like this move, to be honest with you. I was okay with the significant recoil increase. I wanted to see a fire rate come down on the titanium barrel, and I think that in my opinion, would have been the perfect balancing for this weapon. Unfortunately, because they went with this route with this effective damage range, it's to make this weapon very hard to use anywhere, because it's supposed to be good at long distances, because it's a semi-automatic gun, kind of bridging the gap between assault rifle and snipers, like I mentioned. And it's not going to be good close range because it's a semi-automatic gun, so you're punished for bullets missed, and it's a lot easier to miss more shots close range with a semi-automatic gun, especially if people are jumping around with SMGs and stuff like that, just melting you as you're trying to, chase them around with your ADS down and everything. Fire rate, same thing, very low, 343 rounds per minute. Bullet velocity is 540 meters per second, which is also kind of low. Aim down sight speed, 300 milliseconds. This is normal. 25 ammo. A little bit low, but it's not 20 or anything like that. Reload quickness is 2.03 seconds. Here is the recoil pattern here. I have a recording that I'm going to show you right now. So this gun is 15 meters away from the wall. I'm not doing anything to control the recoil, and it has no attachments on it. You can see the very slow fire rate right there. I'm hitting the trigger as fast as I can. Normally I shoot guns pretty quickly, and you can see even I can't make this gun shoot fast. It just doesn't cycle fast. You can also see that it has 2 or 3 bullets down low, and then just kind of a cluster right up there at the top. So looking at the time to kill graph here, you can see that there's this big drop off at 20 meters like we mentioned before, making this gun not very viable at distance or close range really, because it's semi-automatic like I keep saying. An 18% increase to time to kill because of its very low fire rate. So every time you miss a shot, you're increasing your time to kill in this gun by 18%, which is going to severely punish players for missing shots with this gun. Looking at how it compared to itself in Black Ops Cold War and whenever it got that integrated and what changes were made, it got a damage boost, but after that nerf, its effective damage range got cut in half. Fire rate's the same, bullet velocity is worse, aim down sight speed is better, and then as far as ammo goes and stuff like that, that is the same. In terms of recoil, it's kind of personal preference. I think once you recognize that it's just going straight to the left a little bit, it's going to be very easy to control. I think this is a little bit better, just because this one, like I said, it has those 2 that bump up really quickly, and then a cluster. Those first 2 shots are going to be very important, especially because if you miss those for some reason, let's say you're aiming there on the chest and it bumps up and you shoot over their head, you just increased your time to kill by 18%, making that kind of a big deal. And then that's kind of reflected here where they're kind of the same. The big difference is going to be their effective damage range, and their slopes are a little bit different just because of the bullet velocity. Looking at the stats of all the weapons that I've tested so far in Warzone, the Type 63 has the highest damage, one of the lowest effective damage range, again, odd because it's a tactical rifle. And then all of this is not good either. So you can see kind of where we're heading. But it does have a decent recoil pattern. I probably could have made this yellow instead of green just because those two bump ups are going to be very hard to hit at longer ranges. Comparatively to the DMR is much easier to control even in its patched state. So, looking at the time to kill graph for the other assault rifles that I've tested, including the DMR and the Type 63, I have this gun ranked as the worst weapon I have tested so far. Unfortunately, I thought it was going to be decent. I was hoping it was going to be decent. Maybe top 5. But it is, just so you can see, I'm going to click on it to highlight it. It is this line right here, which is kind of in the middle. And you're probably thinking like, wow, why is it, so bad if it's only in the middle? Well, its effective damage range drops off right here. And then it comes down here where it's nearly at the bottom. But the guns that are next to it are the M4 and the Kilo, which are much more accurate. And you're going to be able to hit shots. So I think in long distance gunfights, the M4 and the Kilo are going to be better. In short distance gunfight, it's between the M4 and the Kilo. And it's semi-automatic, so you're going to lose those gunfights likely as well, just because if you miss a shot, you're done. And I think they just kind of like defeated the purpose of this gun. I would have liked to see it kind of just be in the middle, all the way down. Almost. Maybe drop off right here. And because it's recoil and stuff, it would have maybe been top 5. But because of this effective damage range thing, it really ruined this gun. And then whenever you take a look at the DMR is right here highlighted. This is what a tactical rifle should look like, and I was hoping the Type 63, which is going to kind of like mirror that a little bit, maybe a little above it because it's less accurate or whatever. But I think that, so in terms of the DMR, I still have it as top 3. I used it a little bit yesterday. It's not as viable as it used to be. It's definitely not the meta anymore. I had more success using the M4 and the Kilo than I did with the DMR yesterday. And, it's okay. I don't think it's going to go away. People still use it, especially in like Rebirth and stuff like that. A lot of people are still using it. I think it's going to be very good long ranges. Maybe you can compare it with an SMG that can both do long and both short and medium ranges, like the AK-74U or something like that. But I don't think this gun is the DMR is going to be as good as it was, and I think the Type 63, they just ruined it with the patch that previously came out. It wasn't the greatest gun to begin with anyway. People only used it because they thought it was going to be just like the DMR. Its time to kill was supposed to be faster. But at this point, I would recommend not using this gun anymore. If you want to use this gun, just by any chance, I am about to provide a loadout for this gun like I do for every other video. So, if you were going to use this gun, this is what the loadout that I would use for it, which would be the Grew Silencer, the 16.4-inch titanium barrel that's going to give you a boost of bullet velocity and fire rate. The only issue I have with this barrel is because its fire rate kicks up so much and they ruin the recoil in this gun. You'll see, I'm going to do a recoil test in a minute, that has insane recoil, like the worst I've ever seen. A Spetsnaz ergonomic grip, you're going to get vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil control. As far as ammunition goes, I would recommend using a 38-round speed mag, just because if you're playing, especially if you're playing quads, you're going to need all 38 rounds. And then this is my favorite Black Ops Cold War optics so far, the Celix Holo Scout. It's kind of like a holographic. And then I normally use this carrot reticle because you don't have like a blue dot or anything like that. So in this video clip, I'm using the same gun that I mentioned earlier before with all the attachments on it. For the first 2 bullet spreads, I'm not going to do anything to try and control the recoil, as you'll obviously see. And then in the third one, I am going to try and control the recoil. So a quick note about that magazine and why it was so much worse than its base recoil that you can see right here next to it to the left right here. It is 38 rounds. So I noticed that, and in this next one, I believe I only shoot off 25, but it doesn't matter, really. Those other 15 went over the freaking house. So, like I said, this gun's very hard to control all of a sudden. But I'm going to try and control it anyway, and you're going to see again about how much this is going to work. It starts off okay, then I click down, and then... So it's not terrible, but I think that you'd be better off using the DMR for what you should be using this weapon for, which is between that like 30 and 60 meters of range. I think the DMR is going to still probably dominate those ranges, but I think that they balanced it well enough where the M4 and the Kilo and those other, the AMAX and the other good assault rifles are still going to be able to compete with that very well and probably even win those gunfights. Whereas this gun, it's not really good at anything, and I just wouldn't recommend using it. So that is it for today's video. I'm sorry I didn't bring you a gun that was going to be better. I really hoped today was, it's going to be like, hey, I found the new meta, but, it's not the case. At least you won't waste your time using this weapon if you think that it was good because it didn't get patched enough, or nerfed enough. But if you guys learned something in this video, do me a favor and hit a like button. And if you want more content like this, I post daily Warzone videos just like this one, analyzing the guns, talking about post-patch updates, and any other tips that I can find to help the community. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a great day.